Well, hello everyone. Always good to see you. Whenever and wherever we're able to get together and view these messages. You know, I always hate to be the harbinger of bad news, but even though we're just beginning a new year, we're just a few weeks away from the beginning of Lent. I mean, Jesus was just born, and now all of a sudden he's going to die and be resurrected. It seems so short. But I thought maybe we ought to start getting ready a little bit for that particular time. So I was reading ahead and to the Gospel of John, and I came upon this little interaction between Jesus and Pilate. So I want to read that to you and then make some deductions out of some of the words that are used here. It says, this is in John 18, and it says that in verse 33, Pilate therefore entered again into the praetorium and summoned Jesus and said to him, "You are the king of the Jews?" And Jesus answered, "Are you saying this on your own initiative, or did others tell you about me?" And Pilate answered, "I'm not a Jew, am I? Your own nation and the chief priests delivered you up to me. What have you done?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then my servants would be fighting, that I might not be delivered up to the Jews. But as it is, my kingdom is not of this realm." Pilate therefore said to him, "So, are you a king?" Jesus answered, "You say correctly that I am a king. And for this I have been born, and for this I have come into the world, to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth hears my voice." And Pilate said to him, "What is truth?" You know, I think that's a really big question for today. You know, when we're living in the age of relativism where everybody has their own truth. And I want to remind you this, I know I've said it before, but if you ever hear anybody say, there is no such thing as truth, the very first thing I want you to say is that true? Well, if we are talking about truth, then how do we preserve that truth? You know, we know there is truth. The Bible is true. And so I began looking at Paul's letter that he writes to Timothy. He's giving him instructions, and he says this to him. This is in the first letter that he wrote to Timothy. It's in the 3rd chapter, beginning with the 14th verse. "I'm writing these things to you, hoping to come to you before long. But in case I'm delayed, I write so that you may know how one ought to conduct himself in the household of God, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and support of the truth. But the Spirit explicitly says that in the latter times, some will fall away from the faith, paying attention to deceitful spirits." So think about that. The deceitful spirits are telling lies. And so it's important for us, especially if we consider this to be the latter times, to be holding on to the truth. And he says there that the church is the truth. Now, he also says in his letter to the Galatians that Peter, James, and John are pillars in the church. So there he's talking about actual people. And John, when he writes in the Revelation, he says that if you are an overcomer, then you will become a pillar. So this word means a support. It means a standard that will hold up under pressure. So here in this letter to Timothy, he is also saying that it's not just a pillar, but a support. The King James says ground. It's firmly fixed. And so if we as the church want to see truth maintained, then we are the ones who need to be the pillars. The church is the pillar of the truth, the grounding, the fixing, the firmly fixing of the truth in our culture and our time. So I really encourage you all to begin to get into the truth, to read the Word of God. And the good news is that you too may become a pillar in the church. I hope so. God bless.